Nice. How you doing?
Doing great. Yeah.
Happy New Year. You know, whenever I watch you play, first of all, how'd the Boilermakers do this year? Not good?
The Indiana
Television. That's your oldest son now, right?
Yes.
What's his name?
That's Balin. And so Balin was 1 year old there, and he just turned 5.
What a lovely thing. 5 years old, and now we have other pictures of, this is your second son. There they are.
There's Bowen. Yeah, that was right after a training camp practice this year, and Bowen loves putting Daddy's helmet on. And I believe immediately after he put the helmet on, Balin tackled him and gave him a bloody lip.
There we go.
That shot right there. And there were tears and the usual, but that's what brothers are for.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you have a third member of that group, and it's like, can I say this? It's like sort of like you've created another quarterback dynasty down there in Louisiana now.
If they can match what the Manning clan has done by any stretch, it would be quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, well, those pictures are delightful. A great family. How would you evaluate your season now? You win in Philadelphia, you get beat in Seattle, so not a bad season then, really, was it?
No, we finished 12-6, 11-5 in the regular season, and 1-1 in the playoffs. I think the hard part is the closer you get, the more it stings when you aren't able to make it all the way. And I felt like we were playing some good football there towards the end. Unfortunately, we went up to Seattle and had our chances, but just missed out on some opportunities. And listen, they're a great football team.
Now, as a top-rated quarterback and a man who's won the Super Bowl with his team, do you watch the game? You don't watch it.
No, I absolutely watch it. I will never go to it unless I'm playing in it, but I certainly watch it. I watch just about every game I can, just because I am a fan of the game. I love watching it. I'm certainly a fan of the guys playing in it.
Now, will you be rooting for whom? Or just a good...
You know what it is? I always keep those emotions, kind of to myself. But
a lot of people would think, well, the Seahawks took care of you, so maybe you would like to see the Seahawks win, right?
Right, but I would say this, I have so much respect for what Peyton Manning has been able to accomplish, not just this year, but over the course of his career. And, you never know how much longer he's going to play.
Right.
And wouldn't this be a great way to cap off an unbelievable year and an unbelievable
And what about, you know the family, you know Archie?
Yes.
And so do you guys ever get together, all of you quarterbacks? And
You know what? It's kind of hard for us all to get together, pull the schedules together. But the great story about Archie is, right when we got down to New Orleans in 2006, him and Olivia embraced my wife and I. And Archie texted me every week, hey, do you need anything? Just want to make you feel at home, and good luck. And all the way through the season until Christmas Eve, we come here to New York to play Eli Manning and the New York Football Giants. And I don't get a text on Friday, don't get a text on Saturday, and I get a text Sunday morning that says, you're on your own this week, buddy. But they've been great. They've been great.
How about what was different about the Pro Bowl? It wasn't conference against conference now. It was like fantasy football picks in the game. Is that what it was?
Did the fans like it? Did everybody like the in-conference game? The feedback has been great. I mean, here's the thing. It was more like a real football game.
What was the difference? Why was it more like a real football game?
Well, I think the competitive nature of it. I think just the fact that you unconferenced it and you drafted guys. I think that gives guys an extra edge. Like, hey, I've been drafted in this position. I'm here to produce and help my team. I think you're more invested.
Yeah.
And, I mean, by the score and everything else.
Was the hitting a little more vigorous than you would expect?
It was cranked up a little bit. Early on, we got hit a little bit more than we usually get hit.
And what do you say about that?
It's football.
Yeah, it is football. You know what they're talking about doing now? What's his name? Roger Goodell wants to eliminate the extra point. Do you have any thoughts on that?
The old linemen would love that. They hate extra point.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. They just get their head buried down in there and just get pummeled.
Yeah. And it's 90% the extra point is converted. 90% of the time, I guess, was the statistic.
I'd probably say 99.9, so let's just call it good.
So what would that do? What do you do after a touchdown then?
More time for celebration.
So that would increase celebration time.
Yes.
And then how many points would you get for the touchdown? Would it be 7?
7 points, but you have the option of going for 2. And if you do not convert it, you go back down to 6. But if you do convert it, you jump to 8.
So has somebody thought this out strategically, what that might mean late in the game?
See, I'm actually just kind of guessing it along with you right now. I'm pretending like I know what I'm talking about.
Well, here's how it started. I think it started where the idea was you score a touchdown,
right,
and then that gives you the opportunity to kick. The purpose of the touchdown was to get the opportunity to kick because it was called football.
Right.
And you got fewer points for the initial touchdown than you would get for a successful point after attempt. Does that make any sense?
No, it absolutely does. I wonder if it would affect the number of times teams would go for 2. You know, is there any incentive now to go for 2?
I don't know. I can't think about stuff like that. It makes me crazy. I'll just say one thing, and maybe we've talked about this before. What if, like one play a quarter, a team could bring out all 55 players?
And just a free-for-all?
Yeah, no, there's a play. There's a 55-man play. Right. And then the defense is, holy, go, come on, come on, it's the 50, everybody's in. And then they would have to come out, and they're like one play just for the fans.
If it's a double reverse pass with 11 guys on the field, what do we call it with 55?
The options are limitless here.
True. True.
It was apparent last season that having your head coach gone was a factor, right?
Yes.
And he had to step aside. He didn't go to prison, did he?
No. Well, I think for him it felt like
like prison, yeah. And then, so what was the difference he made when he returned? I mean, it's amazing that a guy can have that big an effect on a large group of guys.
He was, you know, he's our head coach. He was the reason so many of us were there, and he. The one thing I can say about Sean, he's such a great leader that he had left all the pieces in place. He had left the foundation for what he had built, and I think for all of us, we felt just disappointed and you know, the fact that we couldn't carry that on in his absence. And listen, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, but we're not going to make any excuses. We were 7-9, and that's who we were. Having him back, he's an unbelievable leader, a great communicator, a great motivator, and he just has the ability to eliminate all the distractions, narrow it down to singular focus, and allow us to go out there and play our best.
You know, the thing that, as a bystander, somewhat familiar with New Orleans, that I've noticed since Hurricane Katrina, the difference that you and your team have made for that community is immeasurable. It's the heart and the soul of that city now, and people, a real savior for the city. And what about the cornerback up in Seattle screaming Richard Sherman? What was that all about? That's nothing, right? People want it to be something. They want him to be crazy, but he's not really.
They do. I think they probably built that up a bit more than they needed to. But listen, he's an outspoken guy. I mean, throughout the whole, I've only played against him twice, but the 2 times we were up there this year, I mean, he's hyping up the crowd. He's jawing. He's, you know, I mean, that's just his personality. I think that's just the way he plays. Some guys are like that.
Is the crowd really crazy in Seattle?
Yeah, they're pretty crazy.
Loud, really loud?
They get loud and crazy. I mean, it's the environment. It's, you know, we played there on Monday night, and then we play there, you know, in the playoffs. You know, 2 extremely important football games. So I think we got their loudest.
I thought it was interesting. He comes to New York City, and the press covering the arrival of the team was disappointed that he wasn't this slobbering, drooling, spitting maniac getting off the bus.
Like Predator getting off the bus.
Yeah, that's right. He was mild-mannered and happy to be here, and then so they just said, "Well, this is no fun."
He's a smart, well-spoken guy. Yeah. They just caught him at a bad moment.
I know. They want him to be crazy, and then if you're too crazy, they don't want him to be too crazy. But then they really would rather he was crazy. Okay, so now
there's a good level of craziness.
We have to have somewhat of a prediction here.
All right. If you were forcing me to make a prediction, which it looks like you're doing.
Well, I'll leave it to you. You know, we're just gentlemen talking about the game.
I would say this, knowing the road that Peyton Manning has traveled to get to this point, I think we forget what he's overcome with his neck injury over the last 2 years. I think it's unbelievable. It's probably a lot more than most people realize or know. And so I think that if this is, you know, the last game of his career, or obviously it's coming to an end soon because he's 37, 38, then it'd be an unbelievable way to go out.
Be a great story. And as I mentioned earlier, we're talking to the audience, Russell Wilson probably have another opportunity in his career.
Yes, and he's an unbelievable player. I have so much respect for him, not only as a player but as a person. And I imagine he will definitely have more opportunities.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
35. And are you thinking of another, like a girl maybe for the family?
We're shooting for that, yes.
Shooting for that. Well, good for you, Drew. All right. Listen, always a pleasure to see you. Go Boilermakers. Good luck to you and your family, and have a great season next year. Drew Brees, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with BJ Novak.